Hi, my lovelies. Woo here. Again, today we're going to talk a little bit about fascia and changing our movements to kind of help release different things. This week we're focusing a little bit more on paralyzed will, the want to but can't, and also fear. So noticing where these things show up in your body and how it's kind of manifesting itself through you. One thing to kind of think about as well is kind of the organ systems that it kind of affects. So it affects your bladder and your kidneys, and it also has to do with the throat chakra a little bit. So a little bit about the throat chakra. It's the blue one. It's the one that it's your voice. It's how you speak. It's how you communicate. Sometimes that communication is through your body. So that's something else to kind of consider. And again, fascia is the stuff that covers your entire body from your head to your toe, and it communicates with each other and tells different things to move different ways, to get stuck in specific ways. Emotions get trapped in your body and hold you in specific positions. So that's another thing to consider. Again, if you haven't seen some of the other videos, what fascia is, it's the stuff that covers your entire body. It covers your organs, your bones, your every cell of muscle cell. So, and eventually that's what kind of creates your tendons. It's basically the thing that covers your entire body. It's even bigger than your skin, so it's your biggest organ. And it moves in different ways to kind of help you move. Like your muscle cell might contract to help move it, but if the fascia doesn't have the flexibility to get there, then you won't be able to move in those specific ways. And it also, when you tear it apart underneath a microscope, it gets very like cotton candy, very stringy. It wants to hold. It's very sticky. It also behaves a little bit like Velcro in the fact that it kind of gets locked together, and you kind of have to move it in a specific way to let it go. And so also thinking about that while you're moving. There's also many layers of fascia, so that's something else to consider. Like so as you're doing all of this stuff and you're like you might get a little frustrated on like, oh, I've been working on this shoulder forever, I've been doing this forever, I've been doing this for like the past couple weeks, and I haven't really seen too much of improvement. But if you think about it's all the little things that really add up. So you've been using your body for how many years, and it's been changing that fascia and moving that fascia in specific ways, so it might take some time to unlock and unravel itself. But when you were able to hone in on the specific things, the reasons why that fascia is like it is, then it's much easier for your fascia to be able to relax and let go. And because it's no longer needed to stay in that specific place. So again, feeling into the things that I'm trying to communicate, things that I am fearful about, things that I want to do something but I can't. So yesterday I talked a little bit about kind of doing stuff with your like career and things like that with your right shoulder, and your hands kind of being the things that like you do things and you can work with your hands and do things like that. And so today I'm going to just kind of feel into whatever my body is saying about fear. And I'm noticing there's still, if you've seen some of my other videos, I've been working a lot on my right foot specifically. So a little bit of my history is I tend to kind of stand like this a lot with that heel up in the air. Not entirely certain why. I'm assuming it has something to do with like not wanting to dig my heels into something, or it's in my foot, so it's a bit of a foundational issue. So things like that are things to consider. And I'm noticing again, there's different meridians that move through different parts of your foot and things like that. But I'm noticing particularly through my big toe and my second toe, like there just seems to be a little bit more activity. The muscles are like changing a little bit more. And then I am shifting my body to kind of feel out, like, do I want to stretch this more? Do I want to hold on to something? Do I want to tighten it up? And again, I'm trying to provoke fear. So I'm trying to think of those things that make me fearful and why I'd be fearful, and things that, I just don't want to do, but the want to but can't, in a way that is slightly different. When I'm thinking about being like fearful, like it might be like, especially with like what's going on in the world, like I want to do things, I want to go back to work, I want to be productive, but I can't because there's this virus out there that is, very dangerous. So kind of feeling through that as well, and how that kind of shifts my body, and just noticing like as I'm putting my foot on the ground and noticing like different toes are kind of getting more engaged, and like even the ball of my foot is being more engaged, and now my toes are actually lifting up off the ground, and kind of just noticing that, and what is that trying to tell me? Again, kind of going through like, what am I being fearful at the moment about? What, just kind of talking about fear and what is that provoking? I'm just noticing like the shift in my body, and now I want to put more pressure on the ball of my foot, but in that same line where the first and second toe are, but not really on the toes, on like the ball of my foot. So I'm just kind of feeling into that and why I might be wanting to put more pressure there, and just feeling through that. And I'm noticing how it's putting some tension on my hip a little bit. So I'm just kind of noticing like what muscles are now being involved and what is now being released. And I just heard a click in my hip, and noticing how that changed something, specifically right here, and how the fascia through here seems a little bit more mobile, but not the whole way. It's just like specifically in this spot it feels more mobile, and here still feels a little on the tighter side. So just kind of feeling through, it could be a specific memory that I'm trying to go through right now, that I can't really, nothing's like popping up for me at the moment that I can think of, but my body is remembering something as it's letting it go, and I'm just allowing, I'm just moving. Like I'm not even thinking about where I'm gonna put my next, like my hand. I'm not worried about where I'm gonna put my leg next. I'm not worried about things. I'm just allowing my body to have this space and move through that. And now when I feel back into my foot, it does feel different than it did before. I'm noticing some more, feels like I got some more engagement of those muscles rather than it being really feeling like it got looser. So, I mean, you can have either way happen, where you're feeling like something's more activated. You can feel like you might be able to feel muscles or tendons that you didn't previously notice before. And I feel like I just kind of moved forward and put more pressure on the ball of my foot. And now as I'm noticing as my hips are kind of rocking backwards a little bit and putting more pressure in my heel, it's really stretching the arch of my foot and my hamstring. And it's specifically the hamstring, so you have 4 of them. It's like the second one in. So you get one hamstring that is in the back of your leg here, and then another one right next to it, and then you've got the ones over here. So like this specific one that's a little bit more on the inside. And then as I shift my hips back forward, I'm noticing I'm still getting that stretch in my arch, and it's actually kind of going back and forth between it's being very stretchy and kind of crampy. So kind of noticing that, like, again, feet are kind of foundational issues. So if I'm kind of thinking about what I'm trying to release at the moment, and like, what am I afraid of? What am I worried about on a foundational level? Especially when it comes to professionalism and career and the more masculine side, because I'm working on my right side right now. And I'm just noticing how, again, I'm moving my hip out a little bit more and noticing how it is changing things in, now it's not just in between my first and second toe, now it's kind of moved out, so it's almost on my, I feel it a lot, even out into maybe just before it hits my fourth toe, so that fourth tarsal bone, that fourth toe, so not quite that last third of my my foot, the outside third. So like I feel like 2/3 of my foot is really engaged at the moment, and it's kind of, again, going back and forth between being a stretch and kind of crampy. It's not painful. Again, you don't want to do anything that's painful or push yourself through something that's painful. And I'm just kind of, again, I'm making these subtle movements with my my hips that are changing things in my foot. And I'm not thinking about where I'm moving, what I'm doing next. I'm just allowing my body to kind of move however it wants to move, and really feeling that stretch and noticing, like, now I feel like I really just kind of want to go down like this and keep a lot of pressure here. And it feels like it's more tight on the inside of my foot versus the middle of my foot. Middle of my foot feels more like a stretch. And now as I'm coming back up, I'm noticing how that kind of changed. I feel like I could feel more of my arch. Like before, like I feel like I was a little bit more aware of just noticing that, like, my foot does have an arch, my foot does move around, but I feel like my foot in itself feels a little bit more pliable, where I can, I feel like I can squeeze it a little bit more, I can straighten it a little bit more, I can go up on my toe a little bit easier, I can put pressure there if I want to. And I'm just noticing the changes on what I can do now and what I couldn't do before. And they're very subtle, but it's still like enough to know that I have made some progress. And so now I'm just kind of allowing, my foot to move back around and do kind of what it needs to. I'm noticing there's a lot of like tension kind of on the outside of my foot. So if you've ever sprained your ankle or done anything like that, that would be kind of like the same fascial stuff that I'm working on at the moment. And then just kind of letting it relax. So if you think about like different emotions and different things, and just allow your body to move how it wants to move, and just honoring it that way. And again, you don't have to do this standing. You can do this sitting. You can do this laying down. You can do this on the floor in your bed. You can do it, in a chair at work. Like, it's your body is aware of what it can work on because it knows what your surroundings are. So that's a concept that's I think is really important as well, like knowing that your body is aware of everything around you and how it can use what is around you to help heal itself and to help get it so it is more free-flowing, more movement, and feeling better. Because your body wants to heal, it wants to feel better, and it wants to have all this free range of motion and be able to do whatever it wants to do. And it doesn't want to have restrictions. And so kind of a little bit of food for thought for that. And I think I'm going to leave this video like this for now. And we'll see you next time on Somato Enlightenment. Again, you can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we'll see you then.